The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Cowboys StoryLine, brought to you by Gillette, the official razor of the Dallas Cowboys. Here's Nick Eatman.
What's up? Welcome to Cowboys Storyline, Thursday, August 21st. We are getting so much closer to the start of the season. Can't wait. I'm Nick Eatman. Chris Beam's in the back, getting me ready to go. We got a couple callers already on the line. You guys know the drill, 888-855-2297. Cowboys have pretty much wrapped up a training camp. I mean, they usually when you leave Oxnard in California, it's like, all right, that's the end of camp. But they did have more training camp practices, and that concluded last night at the Star in Frisco at Ford Center. Another good practice for the Cowboys. Some really nice plays. CeeDee Lamb looks like he's ready to roll. And it'll be interesting to see just who plays in this final game Friday against the Atlanta Falcons. We know Joe Milton is starting at quarterback. Does he play the whole game? How about Jaden Blue? Does he take snaps at running back, and how many does he get? So a lot of things, a lot of questions still to answer. We'll do our best here. In this storyline show, the last one of the week, we'll have one next. I guess we'll go on next Tuesday. And then after that, next Wednesday, we're going every single day, pretty much until the season's over. So we'll have a few stops here and there for holidays and things like that. But it's gonna be we're gonna be at full go here by this time next week. All right, let's start with the phone line. Let's go to Aime in Napa, California. Aime.
Hey Nick, how's it going?
Good.
Good morning, or it's good morning out here in California.
Yep. We still got morning here a little bit.
All right.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm glad to get through to you. You're a hard man to get hold of. So.
Well, it's easier when you start us off, man. When you do it first, you're the leadoff batter. So let's roll.
All right. Hey, so a couple things I'd like to get to. Football first. I think that, I've been listening to the show. I don't always get to listen to live, but I always listen to the playback for sure. And listening to fans and stuff, the storyliners, it's preseason. I don't know what we're all up in arms about. I'm with you. I think Mike is going to play. I think he's going to be suited up. And I'm expecting a big year from him. He had a solid year last year with injuries and everything, and a much less talented defense around him. Mm-hmm. This year he's going to have a lot of guys with him. If we, I heard you say before, like if we can get him into a third and long or a third and passing situation, I like our chances with our rushers. Nealon kicking inside, Ozzie, always doing his thing on the middle. And then we have multiple guys, Fowler, D-Rock, Sam Williams. He looks like he's hungry for some money. So, I think you line those four guys up, and then you add Parsons in as that fifth guy and let him pick out who he wants to go against or where he wants to eat off of, every game. And, again, it's about getting them into those situations. And I like the talent on our team in comparison to last year. And, I was out at training camp, watched some of the early offensive stuff that was happening, and it was like there's a lot of the scrimmage behind the line of scrimmage stuff, and they didn't look like they were running the ball really well, and there's a lot of concern there. But I just think there's still a young team, and it's a long season. I know fans don't want to hear long season; they want to win now, and I do too. But I like the team. I like it. I'm a lot more excited about I was than last year, and right. I just think there's a lot of good things there.
All right, that's awesome. You got anything else?
I have one last thing, Nick, and it's kind of how you ended the show, and then even there was some mention of it, or how you ended your last show, but then even some mentions of it last week. I've even touched on it, and you had made a comment about the quarterback play not being good enough to get us to an NFC championship or Super Bowl. And I I would love to just sit down one of these days and talk with you about it, because I do think Romo was talented enough. There was a couple years that the team was good enough around him, and you touched on those at the end of your show the other day. But I think that was cutting him short. Creighton catches that pass in '08. It's a different game. That defensive line gave everybody hell. It's the only way they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. So to say that Romo didn't play good enough, and then Dez's catch, they didn't call a catch. You know, Murray fumbled those balls in that game, and then to not let him play that last year. That team was ready to roll with the offensive line, and Zeke is running the ball. Romo would have took us there. But, man, I love the show. Yeah. You and Beam do great.
Thanks, bud.
I'll keep on listening, man, and thanks a lot. I appreciate you.
All right.
You're doing God's work for us Cowboys fans.
Thanks for the call. Thank you so much. All right. Good stuff, I mean. I'm not going to sit here and talk about, Romo and all that. I mean, I think I love Tony Romo. I thought he was great. And just like I love Dak. This team hasn't been good enough to make it to the NFC Championship game in 30 years. We know that. They haven't been good enough at one way or another. And so, yes, were they good enough players? Sure, but the team hasn't been good enough. And usually it goes to the quarterback. So whatever, you could make that argument all day long. I mean, yes, Romo made the throws and Dak has done things as well, but they didn't get the job done, and so that's where the fingers will always be pointed, is right there, then and there. But I think it was Romo a good enough quarterback? Of course he was good enough, and it wasn't all him. Yeah, Dez caught it. Were they going to stop Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. I don't think so. So I don't ever put too much stock in the Dez catch game, but. They just didn't get the job done. But it's not a slight against Tony Romo. It's just that's the nature of it. I mean, it is what it is. Dan Marino wasn't good enough to win a Super Bowl. He just wasn't. I mean, he was a good enough talent, but for whatever the reason, he couldn't lead the team to ever win one. So it is what it is. I mean, that's just facts. And then good stuff on just your enthusiasm for the team. All right, let's keep it rolling. Brian in Kansas City's next.
Good morning, sir.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Hey, I was thinking two things today, and they're kind of roster management issues. So my impression from watching, both preseason and following all the shows is that on offense, sounds like Hunter Lipke is a safe bet to be on the team, regardless of where they put him. I don't think it matters. 53 is 53. Doesn't matter if you call him the fourth back or fourth tight end or whatever. To me, that sounds safe. I was curious if that's your opinion. And then on defense, I think when you look at the 5 best defensive tackles, I think the 5th spot is between Aking Basote and Mozzie Smith, which is not a good place to be if you're a first-round draft pick. But what's your opinion on that? Is it as close as I think it is? Because I've heard some good things about Aking Basote, and I still haven't heard anything good about Mozzie.
I haven't really seen anything from Aking Basote, honestly. I don't know what you're seeing or hearing, and yes, it's a long training camp, and everyone flashes here and there. But then we got to remember, Mozzie could do the exact same thing, just a little bit better than a guy like Jay Toye or Aking Basote, and you're going to view it differently based off expectations. That's just the way it goes. That's just the way that the people that you're hearing from that are here standing out at practice, that's their view. And I've never viewed it that way. I don't grade off the curve. I mean, I don't. I mean, this is if my who's better, not based off of the expectations. Now, the Cowboys have to figure that out based off of money, because that is their curve. But as far as evaluating stuff, I just can't believe that Mozzie's going to get cut. I'm not buying that one. I just don't think that they're ready to cut ties like that. And I think he would be on the team. Doesn't mean he starts. Doesn't mean he plays a ton. But I would be shocked if he's not on the team.
No, roger that. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm glad to get your perspective
Yeah.
on that. Hey, I wanted to throw out an old-time player. I haven't done that in a little
Okay.
while. I was wondering if you had a story on Patrick Creighton, and I'll hang up and listen to that story, brother.
All right, appreciate it. Let me just talk to him last night. Just they was here for the they did a Legends event, and they had about 35 former players here, and Darren Woodson was named the Tom Landry Award, and so that was out of practice. And I actually talked to Creighton, and I told him, I'll just tell you the story I told him. I mean, I said, every single time that there's a punt and the guy returns it 10 yards or whatever, and then there's a penalty, and then they make him re-kick. Every time that happens, I think of Patrick Creighton, and I think of a game in 2009 against Denver at Mile High where they made him re-kick it again, and you kick it again after the punt team runs down trying to block. So let's do it again, see how tired they are. And Creighton returned it. I think it was like 99 yards for a touchdown, but they say that his foot was on the line when he got the ball or something, so it ended up being a touchback. But I always think about that, because it's like, make them re-kick it because they were tired running down the first time. They're going to be exhausted. The second time he might bust a big return, and he did, just happened to get called back. But, yeah, we talked a little bit, and Patrick, I think Creighton would be great for shows like this. I think he always tells it like it is. He'd be pretty good for that. So, yeah, always good to catch up with Patrick Creighton. Let's go to Lester in Minnesota.
Morning, Nick.
Hey, Lester, how are you doing?
Hey, man, I looked up Wilkins. Yeah, we don't need that guy. That guy got some little troubles there.
Yeah.
I mean, so that was a good call, man.
Just to clarify, last week, Lester was like, what about Christian Wilkins? He's a defensive tackle of Raiders and Dolphins and all that. And I was like, just Google and see what you find on some off-the-field issues and what his teammates might think about him and what kind of fit he might be in the locker room. So I don't know what you found, but, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes and sometimes, and I've always been one that's like, hey, if you can play, you can play. We'll deal with the other stuff. But there are some issues there, and it can't be a problem to the team in the locker room, and this seems like it could be.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy.
All right.
But a couple things I just wanted to say here. What is how many offensive lines you think we're gonna keep this year, man? Because I'm counting 8 to 10, but I just want to hear what you have to say. What do you think?
Probably right in between. I mean, I don't think they'll have 8. Well, let's just look at it real quick. I mean, let's go with Guyton and Tyler Smith and Beebe and Booker and Terrence Steele. And then that's your 5. Now your backups, Bass, Hoffman. I mean, Bass and Hoffman are 3 players in 2. I mean, that's the thing. They are because they can both play guard and both play center. Now you can argue that you could only need one of those guys, and that might end up happening. But I think for right now, they both seem to be safe. Who's your backup swing tackle?
Awesome.
Awesome or Adeniji. Awesome has not been that, but still, there's still some upside there. Look for a guy like Cornelius.
How has Adeniji looked, man? Because I've been studying him since he was in Cincinnati. He wasn't that good in Cincinnati. I hate to tell you that, but he really wasn't.
And they didn't have a great line, and even though they made the Super Bowl with an offensive line that wasn't that great.
And
he started.
The offensive line that year was bottom 3 or bottom 5, I should say, not bottom 3. It was bottom 5. It was 4 offensive lines that was worse than that one at that particular year. That's a Burrow thing, but anyway, I don't want to talk about Burrow.
Yeah, I think nine linemen seem to be, seem to make sense. I could see a veteran. Look for a veteran it's on the practice squad that they can call up. That might be where Adeniji and a guy like Sadiq Charles could be if they don't get claimed by someone else. Sit them on your practice squad. Make them a game day elevation if need be. So I could see them doing that before they would cut. Like, let's say they like Johnny Cornelius, and they don't feel like they could get him through because he's young linemen get picked up all the time. So I could see a scenario where he might make the team. The veterans actually go to the practice squad, and they use them on game day and keep the rookie inactive. That happened at linebacker last year all season with Nick Vigil keeping Buddy Johnson on the team. So, anyways, there's a lot of different ways to work it. I would say, if I had to guess, about 9 linemen, though.
Okay. And then I got 2 other comments.
Okay, let's make them quick.
What are we really doing with this backup quarterback? I know he could throw the ball, but, man, we need to get Greer some time, I believe. And I know that it's 2 weeks before the season starts, but we need to give him a little something, man. A little something.
Yeah, I agree.
And the other comment I wanted to make was I was listening to the broadcast Monday Night Football, and Troy Aikman seemed like he said he has a positive things to say about the Cowboys' season this year. So I'm encouraged about that, man.
Yeah, it just all depends on how you look at it. Thanks, Lester, for the call. Troy and Troy's gonna be honest. We know that we've seen that long enough where he knows where he played and he's a Dallas Cowboy and he's a Hall of Famer, Ring of Honor, all that. But he has a job to do and he's honest about it and that's what he feels. That's how he feels. This team is top heavy. So, when you think of it from a standpoint of they got to stay healthy, obviously. But when you're like, they've got top 10 quarterback, whatever you want to say, they got a quarterback who's a veteran. He's seen it a lot. He's won playoff games. He's been there. He can win games for you. That is what it is. It doesn't matter about the ranking. He's good enough to win you football games, and he's proven that. So you've got that. And I think he's a top 10 quarterback at this stage in his career. That's what I believe. But and then you got a top 5 receiver. You've got a top 5 receiving duo, in my opinion. You've got a top 10 tight end. You've got one of the best guards in the NFL, and Tyler Smith. You still have a young line, but and then you've got, in my opinion, a top 2 or 3 defensive player overall in Micah Parsons when he's out there, and I think he will be. So you've got pieces, and if you think of it that way and keep him healthy, can they wreck games for you? Can CD take over a game? Yes, he has. Can they run the football? That's going to be a question. But can Micah Parsons wreck a game? Yes. So when you have guys on both sides of the ball that can go win a football game, and you've got arguably the best kicker in the league and the best punt returner, kick returner as well. I'm just talking about factors of your team that would make you be positive. Now, there's some negatives. We can go all day long back and forth. I'm just saying, if you want to look at it from that standpoint, do you have pieces? They can win and dominate the kicking game. They can dominate things on defense if Micah Parsons is playing like we know he can. And on offense, they can go and put up a lot of points. We'll see with Schottenheimer calling the plays if that happens, but that's kind of what you'd like to believe. So you add all that up, can they go win games? Yeah, they should be able to. Schedule's going to be tough. It looks tough, but we'll see. All right, let's go to Steve in New York.
Hey, what's up, Nick?
Hey, how are you doing?
All right, pal. I'll just get this out of the way quick. The Netflix special, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm going to talk football, because as far as the Micah thing, as someone who's been a fan almost 50 years of this team, if there wasn't a distraction or something, it wouldn't be Dallas.
Yeah,
so,
it'd be a distractive.
It's always something. It's going to be something, and it's going to get done. And I'm not even concerned about that at this point. My football question for you before I hit you with my trivia. I'm trying to, you look ahead at the Philly game and, you try to figure what we can do, but I have no clue, and I just want your take on this. If there's like a running back who's going to get 15-plus carries, would you even have a guess who it would be? Like, I don't know what they're doing with the running back position going into this game.
going into this game, I think they're going to try to evaluate Jaden Blue and maybe some more of Maffa. But I think going into the season, I would think Javonte Williams looks like he's going to be the starter.
Wow. And how many carries has he had in the preseason?
None. 0.
That's interesting, right? I mean, it's wow.
Yeah.
But
I honestly, if he would have had one last week, I mean, he'll say he had 4 carries last week. Is he ready for the season now? I mean, now is he ready? I don't know. I have a hard time thinking that, and I guess I'm just so like risk reward on everything. Does it really make sense? You know, I mean, maybe that's why I've never bungee jumped. I don't know. I mean, like, it might be awesome, but if it's not awesome, then I'm not going to be able to talk about it. So, you know what I mean? I just look at risk reward, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know about playing them. So
yeah, and I know myself included, when we hear the words by committee, we all get,
yeah.
Oh God, here we go. And it's true because like I don't know. Maybe I'm old school. I like to have that one guy. Yeah, mix it up. You'll throw in somebody else, but I don't know. The by committee thing always concerned me a little bit.
I get it. I mean, it just means that you don't have a guy that's good enough that do everything, and that's the thing. When you have the guys that aren't, when you don't have by committee, it means you've got this one guy. That means he's better at everything. He's going to be your guy to get 3rd and 1. He's going to be your home run hitter. He's going to be the guy on that can pick up the blitz and catch the ball out of the backfield. And I don't know if the Cowboys have that guy that checks all the boxes. And they've only really had about 4 or 5 ever in the history of the franchise that are like that. So it's kind of rare, I think. But we'll see.
It is rare. It is rare, but they were there for a while. I mean, if you go back to, back in the day, whether, and then leading to Emmett and Zeke, you had that one, that one guy. I mean, listen, I don't know. Maybe they'll prove me wrong. I hope they prove me wrong,
Yeah.
And if the line plays well, maybe it won't matter. But, hey, okay, so the trivia. Probably one of the worst season openers ever. I'm sure you remember it. The Texans' first game, 2002. Oh, brutal. Cowboys only scored 1 touchdown in that game, and it was a 46-yard run, and it was this guy's only touchdown of the year, and it was also the Cowboys' longest rush of the year.
Michael Wiley.
Wow. You got it. I'll get you one day, Nick. I get you one day.
Yep. Was that a
Love
catch?
the show, man.
Was that a run or a catch? It was a weird play, wasn't it? It was some kind of I don't even remember. You're saying it was a run, right?
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was a run. It was a weird play, though. I remember.
It was like a deflection. That ball went up in the air, and I thought maybe it was a catch because maybe they called it a fumble. One of those. I think Quincy got hit, and the ball went in the air. Was it a pass? Was it a fumble? Did it not? It didn't matter because he caught it and ran it in for a touchdown. What a terrible game, though. It was a terrible game. Yeah.
Oh, God. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
See you later. All right, let's go to break here on Cowboys Storyline. We'll be right back after this.
Crown Royal and the Dallas Cowboys are bringing back the Royal Rig for Season 2. See it in action at AT&T Stadium on Thanksgiving Day, where the Dallas Cowboys take on the Kansas City Chiefs, and around Dallas on November 26th and November 28th. Visit crownroyal.com to see where else the Royal Rig is stopping this NFL season. That's crownroyal.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cowboys fans, when it comes to navigating the ever-changing world of tax, your business needs a partner it can trust to tackle even your biggest tax challenges. Ryan is the largest firm in the world dedicated exclusively to business taxes. Our team of tax professionals has local expertise in all areas of tax and can help you uncover savings opportunities you didn't know you had. Learn more about how Ryan can improve your overall corporate tax performance by visiting Ryan.com. Ryan, the official tax partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Alltech Lansing has been perfecting sound since 1927, bringing you decades of audio excellence to elevate your Dallas Cowboys tailgate ritual. Equip your next pregame with the Sound Rover 180 180 with 6 hours of playtime, built-in microphone, multicolor light modes, and a rugged exterior that's built to last. Visit alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off your Sound Rover 180. That's alteclansing.com/Cowboys15 for 15% off. Altec Lansing, official audio partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
We've still got limited tickets available for the 2025 home games here at AT&T Stadium. Cowboys obviously taking on the Eagles, Giants, Commanders. Also the Packers, Chiefs, Chargers, Vikings, and Cardinals. Come to AT&T Stadium. Visit DallasCowboys.com/tickets or SeatGeek.com, the official primary ticketing partner of the Dallas Cowboys. All right, let's get back to the phone line. We have Sergeant Sue's been waiting. What's up, man?
How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you doing? Good to see you the other night at practice. I know you were there sporting the Cowboys Storyline shirt and a big chain.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My sister actually asked. She was like, "Is that the only Cowboy shirt you have?" I was like, "No, it's just my favorite one."
It's the only one you need. It's the only one you need.
Yeah. Yeah. But real quick, before I start, I want to shout out to Mike in Birmingham and let him know that I didn't forget this time. At ease, everybody. I used to say that and he reminded me about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a couple of things, man. So I'll try to be quick. One, like other people have stated, I'd like to see Will Greer play a little bit more this game. I know I mentioned it after week one, that it's really hard to evaluate these wide receivers when you have inconsistent quarterback play. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate that they've been dealing with it, especially now. With Mingo unfortunately going down, there's a spot open now. You know what I mean? And
right.
Flournoy and Brooks and Holden and Kelly, even though he may be on the outskirts of that, but there's some playmakers there. And I have two questions that are kind of eye test questions for you, brother, because I've been to a couple of training camps this year, thank God, and thank you obviously for helping us out. My eye test is telling me one thing. I want to see what yours tells you. Tolbert, man, and I mean this super respectfully, but he's kind of like boring. He'll catch a hitch or something like that, and he'll shake his shoulders, but he gets tackled. And I haven't seen him really make a lot of plays downfield like Brooks has this training camp. I haven't seen him make any spectacular catches like Holden has this this training camp. So I was just wondering, is it just my mind playing tricks on me, or could Tolbert be interchangeable? You know what I mean? And if that's so. Who could you see actually, who do you favor? Right? I don't know if you're allowed to say or if you want to, because I know you walk past these guys in the halls and stuff, but who would you favor if you could? And then my last eye test question is, I've been thinking a lot about Hunter Lipke, and I know he's like 6'1" or maybe, or whatever, but I watched him down there with Linda Wells and the tight ends, and I think he's pretty solid. I feel like if he wasn't a fullback, he would be a pretty good tight end, you know what I mean? And I feel like that could help when it comes to roster manipulation, and I was wondering your thoughts on that. And my last one is just I really hope that Maffa gets an opportunity to run the ball a lot this game. I don't know what they were doing last game. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. I think it's time for them to drop the deuce, you know what I mean, and just give Maffa some more carry. So just want to get your thoughts on that, brother. I appreciate it. Sorry I was a little long-winded, man, right. And I'll hang up and listen, brother.
All right. Yeah, I got that one. Good one. This is that time of year also, remember about, Phil Maffa and other players like that where they think they know what they've got in them. Does he need to go out and rush for, 100 yards in the game or whatever, depending on what they might do with him? Maybe they are trying to get him on the practice squad, so they don't necessarily need him to go out and have this huge game. But it depends on, where they stand with him. Maybe they still want to see him more. So it all depends on if they've made their decisions on certain players. And that's the first thing you mentioned was Greer. And, I can't sit here and tell you what they're thinking as far as let's say they want to see more of Milton. Obviously, that's why he's starting. If it doesn't go any better than what we've seen, then what? Is it just Greer? Because if that's the case, I'd like to see him get a little bit more snaps. But it almost seems like if it's not going to be Milton, then it's going to be someone else that they're going to have to bring in anyways. So I'm not sure. I just don't know. I'm not sure what they're thinking. It all comes down to kind of how close they think Milton is to being, a guy that can be the starting quarterback. I mean, I'm sorry, the backup quarterback, not the starting quarterback, but the backup quarterback. And what I'm thinking is just like last year, when you saw, they gave all the reps to Trey Lance. And then by the end of the 3 games, they're like, all right, you're the third quarterback. You're not better than the guy that we have that's won games. But the difference is that Cooper Rush is so much further along than what Will Grier, so much more accomplished than Will Grier, that it makes me think that if it's not Milton, then they may have another guy in mind here. But stay tuned, obviously, to that. As for Tolbert, he's not flashy. You're right, but he's been pretty effective in the role that he has, and I'd be surprised if they let go of him, and maybe they would try to trade him. But your depth is. He may not be as exciting for you for the 4th guy or whatever, but I think if he had to play with an injury to another guy, if he even had to start and be the backup or be the number 2, I think he'd be fine with that because of how much he's played. So, you've got a lot of depth at receiver. It would have to be a reason for me to not have the depth and to trade it away for something else or to cut ties with them, because I do think he is a big, he's a difference than your next tier of the Flanoys, Jalen Brooks, and some of the rookies. Who else did you talk about? I think Lipke's safe. I don't know if I mentioned that when Brian from Kansas City talked about him earlier, but I think his versatility is so good. He gives you a little bit of everything. If you have injuries at tight end, and we see this team has injuries at tight end. They're hurt right now. I mean, he can finish a game for you at tight end. He could even be your 3rd tight end to going in. He could run the football for you. He can play special teams, and he can be a fullback. There's not many guys that can do those things, and that's what makes him so valuable. And yeah, I don't think he's going to play this week, and I think because he's going to make the team. All right, Rick in Massachusetts is next.
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. Kind of like September weather up here right now for a little bit.
Is that good?
Yeah, kind of cool. It's cooler.
All right.
My question for you is that I basically know the thing is, but say someone gets released, maybe it be Sanders or whatever, or then he gets put on the practice squad, goes from waivers, put on the practice squad, then he gets called up 3 times. I know after he gets called up 3 times, he has to go on the team or be cut. Say if he gets cut and then he goes through waivers again and nobody picks him up. We can bring him back to the team, put him on the practice squads. Can we call him back up 3 times?
I believe no, you cannot do that. It only starts over when you get to the playoffs. That's where it resets. But let me clarify one thing that you said, and maybe I didn't hear you correctly. Let's say Miles Sanders, they move him up 3 weeks in a row, and then they move him back down. They don't have to cut him or put him on the roster. He could stay on the practice squad. He's just out of elevations. It doesn't mean he has to go anywhere. He can stay on the practice squad, but to get him to the game another time, then you are going to have to clear a roster spot, and he has to play. And I believe if he plays, I believe the rule used to be 3 weeks. You have to be on the team for 3 weeks. But I think that's if you poach a player from another team. If you do that, he has to be on your team for 3 weeks. But no, he doesn't have to go anywhere. You're just going to be out of elevations for him. But
okay.
But that's something that they could definitely consider, and say because the practice squad changes a lot of things where you maybe you don't have to go long. Maybe the only guys on your team that make it at running back are Javonte Williams and Jaden Blue, and then everyone else and Hunter Lipke. But then everyone else is on the practice squad. Now you got Sanders for 3. You got Moffitt for 3. I mean, I'm not sure Moffitt can make it there. Maybe Sanders doesn't make it there. He was a free agent, but there's so many different ways to play it. But and Malik Davis I think is a guy that could be on your practice squad that you could call up if you needed him.
Yeah, that's correct too. They're saying, but I was going to say to me. All right, we're probably going to go over roster stuff later, but to me, it's like we prefer probably Thomas and done
Adeniji?
somebody else over Richards or Sanborn, being on the team, Childress over Booth, but that's my position. But we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the Booth. Thanks for the call, Rick. And that's twice now in 2 shows this week that I've forgotten Nate Thomas. I'm not really sure why. Because I knew when I was writing down, I had the O line writing down. I knew that there's a gap here. I'm like, somebody's missing, and it's Nate. I just went straight to Guyton at left tackle, and then I kind of forgot Nate Thomas as the back. I mean, he's gonna make it. I mean, the question is gonna be is do they want to put Nate Thomas out there against the Eagles if Guyton hasn't practiced enough? So it just depends on when he comes back to practice. But either way, you're going to hold your breath. I mean, because the Eagles, they're going to bring it on defensive line, and they're going to be really dynamic and get after Dak and do it in ways that you just haven't seen that they probably haven't seen before. So you got to be ready for everything. And so if it's just because Guyton's been out there doesn't mean it's not going to be a struggle for him. And the same with Nate Thomas. All right, let's go to Greg in Sacramento.
Hey, Nick, how are you doing, man?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been hard, really, really, as everybody's been saying, hard to get in. But you know what? I just wanted to. I haven't talked in a while, so I just wanted to give a quick shout out to all you guys and the Storyliners. When you guys did that show, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
The way it all came together, it's cool that they all got to go over there. I wish I could have made it on that day, but I couldn't make it that day. I ended up going on August 7th. And I was looking for you so hard. Like, I was asking. I saw Patrick Walker out there and told him kind of the older heads out there, Mickey and Clarence and all them from anyway, I saw them out the sideline, but I was looking for you on the sidelines, and I didn't see you that day. So, unfortunately, I missed you. But I just updated Chris he updated me with the correct email. I was putting in the wrong thing. I was putting .com instead of .net, so I haven't been able to get a hold of him either. But anyway, sorry, I don't mean to ramble on about that. I do have 3 questions if I can get to them really quick.
Let's roll.
Okay, yeah. My first one is funny. My phone has a ticker on how many times I called in, and it was 88 times. And I thought it was funny because my first question is about CeeDee Lamb. What do you think the not time split, I guess the catch or target split is what I mean, between him and Pickens? What do you think that's going to be? Do you think it's going to lean more heavy towards CD, or is it going to depend on what other defenses are giving out there? That's question number 1. Question number 2 was when I went out to Oxnard, Joe Milton looked really good. Like when he was throwing to CD and Pickens anyway, I saw him throw a couple of crossing routes to them that looked really good, and they weren't really long balls that I saw. So I'm wondering why he doesn't do that more in the game. And then my third question is about Micah. Just when players like Micah, when they move around on the D-line and stuff, players that can kind of play multiple spots, are they the ones, are the players the ones that choose, or I guess specifically Micah, is he the one that chooses where he's going to line up, or is that a coaching decision, or how is that determined?
Okay, thanks for the call, Greg.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it. Mike, sorry, we got to keep it rolling. Micah, I don't think chooses all that, but those are things that you can do, in if you're in practice. If you're at practice and you can, kind of show this staff all the different things. It's not just, I say this a million times, it's not just what Micah can do. It's what happens when Micah says, I want to line up over here. Are the guys able to shift and move and comfortable in that route as well? So that's why, I think you can be a lot more dynamic if he starts to return to practice. But that's the thing. Milton, you don't get hit in practice. You don't feel the rush as much, and so you're not going to take a shot. So it's going to be easier for you to do your thing there as opposed to being, obviously in the game. And if the bullets are flying, it's a little bit different. Target wise with CD and Pickens, I would think it's got to at least be 2-1, maybe 3-1, but that's on the defense too. It's kind of that's the pick your poison. If they're going to double team him, then then these other guys are going to make plays, and that should soften it up more for the star receiver to make get the ball, and I think that the Cowboys got to be creative and making sure that they get the ball to CD regardless of coverage. But if they're going to double team him and leave the tight end and leave the running game open to run the ball more, then the Cowboys are probably going to do that. Let's go to break one more time on Cowboys Storyline and be right back after this.
Discover Aiden, the official luggage partner of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Known for top-tier engineering and craftsmanship, Aiden offers more than just bags. Originating from Australia and designed in New York, it merges fashion, design, and culture. Used by Dallas Cowboys players, staff, and the entire organization, Aiden provides style and functionality for all travelers. Visit AidenTheBrand.com and use code AidenXCowboys for 25% off your purchase. Travel like your favorite stars with Aiden.
All right, Cowboys fans, this one's for you. Gillette's Best Shave has a new look this season, and they've got one that sticked out in Cowboys colors just for us. We're going to want to run, not walk to this one, y'all. The new Gillette Labs official Dallas Cowboys licensed razor isn't just Gillette's best shave. With 50% longer lasting blades than Fusion, it's the best a Cowboys fan can get. Get it while you can at Gillette.com/NFL. Gillette's Best Shave is also available as heated.
Back to Cowboys Storyline.
This segment presented by Yeti, officially licensed Yeti Cowboys gear, is now available at Stadium Pro Shops, concession, and on Yeti.com. Sorry, Yeti, this is the shortest segment of the show. So we got to go quick here. We have one more caller. This will be our last caller. It'll be 8 callers. Gary, New Mexico, what's up?
Hey, Nick, good to talk to you again. You are a popular man.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, just real quick, I don't even have a trivia question for you this week, but just real quick, I'm excited about the season. You made some great points. We've got some good players. The kicking game is huge. If we can be competent on both sides of the ball, we can win a lot with our kicker and special teams. But I just want to say this. I want to defend Jerry Jones because he's getting a lot of flack over this Micah Parsons deal.
Yeah.
And I get where Jerry's coming from. This whole argument that Jerry's just in it for money and marketing, I don't doubt that Jerry Jones wants to win. And you're going to make a lot of money if you get them back to the Super Bowl. And I think he's frustrated. He's paying out all these big contracts, and he's not getting his return on investment, and it's frustrating him. And he's got to be careful with this stuff. So I just ask the fans, man, give Jerry a break. I'm going to side with Jerry on this Micah thing. And like the previous caller said, there's always drama in Dallas, and it will work out, and it'll all be all right. But I'm a glass-half-full guy, so let's get the season started, man. Next time I call, I'll have a trivia question for you. But I'm excited about the season. Let's see what happens.
Okay. All right, Gary, I'm excited too. Thank you for the call and good points on that. I mean, no one really knows, what all Micah has initially asked for and where things stood and how that conversation went. And you're right. I mean, the Cowboys haven't had great success when after signing these big deals. Some have panned out and been great. Some haven't. So they're obviously trying to make sure that they get the best interest of the entire team. All right, guys, good stuff. I will say this: eight calls is a little low than what we want, and I think a lot of it has to do with I'm long-winded too, but let's keep it moving a little bit. Well, maybe 3 points is a little too much. I understand when you guys get in after calling so many times, you got a lot of things to say, and I get that. Let's try to share the ball a little bit more. So 10 to 12 would always be a good cutoff line for me. Remember, big deal for me personally is getting this documentary done on Joe Avezzano. It airs tonight. You'll see it. You can be watching it on the YouTube channel, Cowboy YouTube channel. I think Thomas Blakey is the director of it, and I worked very closely with him. He was awesome in doing this, and I'm a friend of Tony Avezzano, Joe's son, and I think it's going to be real special for him. He's gonna love it. It's hard to tell Joe's story in less than an hour just because he was everything. If you're a little bit younger fan and don't know who he is, I still think you'll enjoy it. I really do. I think you'll enjoy if you just kind of listen to the person that he was. It's just called simply Coach Joe. You can be able to watch that tonight. So I'm really excited about that. If you do watch it, retweet it, YouTube it. I don't mean to sound like that guy. Subscribe and all that. But sure would be nice to get some love for Coach Joe. All right, for Chris Beam, I'm Nick Eatman. We'll see you next week on Cowboys Storyline.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!